Arsenal 3, Manchester United 2. The first loss in, 10 games for Manchester United. Just a little sign, I think, at the end there, the last 20 minutes, that we're still a way behind here, aren't we? In terms of, looking at the bigger teams in the league, or the teams that are doing well, not bigger, obviously, than United. The teams at the top of the league, we don't have the ability to put them under pressure for 25 minutes consistently like they do to us. And in the end, it felt, watching it to me, that eventually that pressure was going to tell, didn't it?
Yeah, you made a good point, because I was sort of looking at it going, the Bruno to the right wing, Fred, was it Anthony off, Fred in the middle thing didn't work. Yeah. But you pointed out it wasn't working before he went off. Yeah. We were getting overrun. They were having all the possession, all the chances. It was backs to the wall. And we've been here before. We've had times, where I remember that time in the Emirates where David De Gea had an absolute stormer. We've had it where, we've had to sort of cling on before, but you felt tonight it was coming. And we were just giving it away far too cheaply. Positionally, we weren't great. And I think it's all part of the learning curve. Do you know what I mean? We've gone from a team last season who finished 6th to a team this season who, after the first couple of games, got our act together, got some good signings in, and have challenged pretty much, Man City away apart. Yeah. Aside, every single game we've been in, we've been competitive with. And another day you might have got a draw, just like saying, right, too much pressure. I just feel that is a reminder. That is a little reminder, because we had this run, people going, oh, you know what, if we beat City, and we beat Palace, and we beat Arsenal, then you're in the mix then. Which is fair enough, because I said that myself, but we haven't. We beat City, then we drew at Palace, and now we lose at Arsenal, and that just reminds you that, we're not in the mix, and we've got some way to go. And when you do lose someone like a Casemiro, you're going to struggle a little bit, because he's such a big player for you. And I still feel like, even with Casemiro in the side, I think we could have won it with Casemiro in the side, but even with him in the side, there's still other areas where you perhaps need one or two players. I still feel like we need another midfielder. Yeah. I still feel like we need another striker as well. We know, because Weghorst, I thought he did all right tonight, but he's only here to the end of the season. And he's not a title-winning striker, is he? By any stretch of the imagination. So if you want to get to the point where you're challenging for titles, you need a striker. Yeah. But all the frustrations aside, if we're going to look at the positives, I thought Marcus Rashford's goal was as good a goal as I've ever seen him score. Yeah. Phenomenal strike. Yeah.
Skinning one of the most informed players in the league at the minute.
And absolutely, smashing up. Great to see Lisandro Martinez get off the scores, get off the mark as well for United. It's just annoying that it's all for nothing, because, you leave the Emirates with no points at the end of the day, and that's the frustrating thing. But, like I said earlier, bit of a learning curve. Mm-hmm. Take the sort of positives and what we've just said. Hopefully, now we can get another run going, because we've got some winnable games. Casemiro obviously comes back in. That's going to be massive. Get Martial as well and Dalot back into the squad, and, it's looking a lot better. It's just a really annoying way to lose because you took the lead. Yeah, I think that's the annoying thing, isn't it? Because I think going into the Palace game, United hadn't dropped any points from winning positions all season. And now we've dropped 5 points from winning positions in 4 days. Yeah. Which is frustrating. And obviously that was never going to last forever. We're the only team in the league that hadn't dropped any points from winning positions. So it's not something you can just, every time you score the first goal, you win. But yeah, it just felt like, actually, no, you know what? I'm going to focus on the positives. The positives are, 6 months ago, this is an Arsenal team that is currently on for 100 points, by the way. 19 games played, 50 points won, which is... It was one of the best starts to a Premier League season ever. It's not like everyone's awful and they're just doing all right. They are playing sensationally well at the moment. And we aren't at that level, but we're, 2.5 years behind? Or 2 years behind how long's Arteta been there for? It was 2019, wasn't it? When they won the FA Cup.
I'll have a look now.
I think it was 2009. Forgive me.
So he joined there in 2019.
Yeah, they won the FA Cup.
So he's 2.5 years behind it.
And if you look at what he's done, every transfer window, he's bought one or two players in, hasn't he? Some of them, like Willian and Aubameyang or whatever, well, Aubameyang was already there. Yeah. Well, some of them haven't stuck, but then you brought in, one window he's brought in Gabriel and Ben White and Ramsdale, and then another one you're bringing in...
Partey.
Yeah, Partey, and another one.
Jesus.
You're bringing in Jesus, Zinchenko. So it's sort of, a gradual process that has got him to the point now where, as you say, he took 50 points in the halfway mark. Eric Ten Hag's come in, took over a team that's finished 6th with a lot of issues. You lost all those players in the summer, Cavani and Pogba and Matic, Mata, Lingard and all them lot. They've all gone. You've got Ronaldo who didn't want to be here. You've got players who've fallen off a cliff. Shaw, Rashford, McTominay, Maguire, all terrible last season.
De
Gea. You've turned that around, and then, you know, almost every part of it, you've brought in good signings, you've turned this form around, you've brought in from, you know, the youngsters, well, Garnacho. So you're doing the right things, you're moving in the right direction. You've just got to be a little bit patient. Fergie, you know, came in, and I know we finished second in his first full season, but took him a few years before we actually won the title.
And
so,
I think now,
you know, he's the greatest manager ever.
With the money and the money that has been spent on United and the success we have had, you would expect someone to turn it around a bit more quickly than it took Fergie. But also, football's so much different to how it was then.
Yeah,
but the point of trusting a manager that is giving good signs that he is moving things in the right direction, and I think that you can't possibly doubt that Ten Hag is doing that. And 6 months in, you know, yes, we lost but it's a last minute defeat. We made good chances against them. We scored multiple goals away from home against the team top of the league. It's not a disaster. We also beat them at home, let's not forget. So it's, you know, sort of honours even across the two ties this season. It's not an embarrassment by any means. You know, we've done the same with City. We lost the first time, got battered. Actually, you know what? We're better than we were then. We'll beat you at Old Trafford. Like, it's not, none of it's a disaster, is it? And that's the thing that I'm focusing on. The positive, is that where we were at the start of the season, at the end of last season, the expectation and the potential and the performances are so much better than they were then. I can only imagine what it's going to be like in 18 months come the end of next season. You know what I mean? It feels
because it's like you talk about
pre-season
and stuff. You know, when we had a pre-season, we had Martinez, I think, joined. Ericsson joined. Ericsson didn't start the full pre-season.
No.
Casemiro, I don't think, played any part in pre-season. Obviously, neither did Anthony.
No.
Malacia did a little bit. You know, you didn't have a full pre-season with your team. Ronaldo was obviously a bit of an issue during pre-season because we had that game where he left early and everything. So you've only had like 5.5 months or whatever it is to get this squad going in the way you want. And you look at those first 2 games we had, which were pretty disastrous, especially Brentford away. He's turned that around since then. You can see what he's trying to do. It is massively frustrating to lose a game like that.
Yeah.
But on the whole, when you look at how this season's panning out and what Eric Ten Hag's doing, where you're in the quarterfinals of a League Cup, you've got every chance of winning. I think we're still in the top 4 after today as well.
Yeah, we are, yeah. 6 points clear.
6 points clear of Spurs. I think we're level now on games as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like they've got a load of games in hand or anything. And then you look as well, okay, it's a difficult one, but you've got a Barcelona double-header in the Europa, which is, you know, something to look forward to, if nothing else. And a game against Reading in the FA Cup. So, cup competition looking good. League looking good. It's not a negative season. It's just a frustrating afternoon.
Yeah. We'll get into some of those fixtures coming up in a minute. We've got some super chats first. Get your chats in. Get your super chats in. Microwave 2 says that's so offside. Don't know what that means.
It wasn't. I think
it wasn't.
I think the problem was, I like Wan-Bissaka and I think he's had a good spell, but you can see why he prefers Delot.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason that Delot's played
especially
every game.
It's in the most difficult games.
Yeah.
The thing is, Wan-Bissaka has had an incredible resurgence over the last 4 or 5 games. But in the biggest games against the highest pressers and the most sort of intense and tactically sound teams, the flaws of your team will show.
Yeah.
And we saw today that the flaws, from my perspective, the flaws today were McTominay midfield, positionally, was poor. Ericsson's legs went by the end of the game. Luke Shaw sitting off his man, which is something he's always prone to do. He let Saka do what he wanted, basically, on that side. Wan-Bissaka on the ball and De Gea on the ball. They were the big 5 sort of, not even massiff problems, but just enough over the course of a game to show and to tell and to lose you the game.
And people will sort of, I'm guessing, will go, oh, Weghorst's not up to the job. I thought he did all right tonight.
Yeah.
I thought he probably did the job you brought him in to do.
Yeah.
Hold the ball up, got involved.
And also, he's obviously, if you had a terrible game, I'm going to sit and criticise him, but he's almost a separate part. He's not the real team, is he?
No, and
he's come in to sort of help out. He's a supply teacher.
Anthony is another one who's got a bit of stick. He's probably the only signing that of Eric Ten Hag's that's got stick other than Weghorst. I thought he did all right tonight. Yeah. I thought he was causing all sorts of problems. I just feel it's that thing of you're only sort of you get a reminder of you still got somewhere to go. And let's not forget as well, Arsenal beat everyone. Yeah. They do. They've got a fantastic record this season. So it's not like we've lost to opposing. We've lost to the team that are top for a reason. And I think, you look at what we've done this season. We beat City. You've beaten the Scousers.
We've beaten Arsenal.
At Old Trafford. You've had some big results. Do you know what I mean? Comfortably beating Spurs, one of the best atmospheres at Old Trafford in recent memory. You know, there's reasons to be positive. It's just today, for me, is a reminder. And it's that, you know, I've said it a few times, I know you have as well, is we're over-reliant on Marcus Rashford. Mm-hmm. Like, he's gone on this great run. I think that's now, 9 games out of 10 he scored in. Yeah. Where the other goals coming from, though?
Nowhere.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Martinez got off the mark, so you can't rely on Martinez to get your goals all the time. You know, the other night against Palace, who was it against Palace? I can't remember.
No, I can't. Genuinely don't know who scored in that game. Was it Anthony?
No.
Fernandes.
Fernandes weighs in with a few goals, but Martial's injured all the time. Anthony scored 3 in his first 3 games. Hasn't scored since in the league, I think, or scored 1 in the league since. I can't remember. You know, the other midfielders, the other attackers, Garnacho's weighed in with a couple, but there's this over-reliance on Marcus is what I'm getting at for goals. And I think that's something that needs addressing. If we get a number 9 in who comes in and bangs in goals, if you did get a Harry Kane or a Victor Osimhen or someone like that in who could get you 25, 30 goals a season, and you get another midfielder in, and then, you know, another option at fullback or whatever, another defender maybe, it's only like, you're not that far away.
No. Do you know what I mean? Not that far away. It's not. We're a team that we know is capable of winning 9 games in a row. Yeah. Which is a really good thing to be able to say. Yeah. And if we can push that to, you know, usually, I mean, when teams are winning, getting 100 points in a season, you know, you literally cannot lose. But in a typical season, the thing that defines who wins the league is whose dips are the shortest. Yeah. So no, you're never going to win every game, obviously. But it's if you go right, draw 1, loss 1, win. That's okay. You can live with that. But it's when you do draw, loss, win, draw, win, loss, win, and all of a sudden you've dropped 10 points in your last 5 games. That's the thing you need to get shorter and shorter and shorter every season. Because we went on runs under Solskjaer where we could win 9 games in a row, but then we would win 2 of the next 12. Yeah. And that's the thing that I think, and we'll find out because I want to have a look forward to that over United's next few games, is I think those gaps of how bad we are for how long should start getting shorter and shorter. So looking forward to these next games, and we've got a quote from Luke Shaw here who sort of talks about that. You have to give Arsenal credit for what they've done this season. They deserve to be at the top with how they're playing. There's a long way to go, and we have to fully focus on our next game, a big semi-final coming up. To me, I was chatting to my dad before the game, as I do before every game, and he was saying, whatever happens today, we have to not let it affect the Forest game. Because even if we beat Arsenal today, 95% chance we weren't going to win the league, 90% chance we weren't going to win the league. But we can win the League Cup. We can't let this, when I talk about those dips, we can't go, we lost to Arsenal, drew with Forest in the first leg, drew with them again, gone out on penalties. Yeah. We have to bounce back now because there's no choice. Because it's Forest next in the semi-final of the cup. We can definitely win. Then it's Reading in the FA Cup 4th round. So I know it's only Reading, only Forest, but if you're not at it and you're not up for it, these dips turn into, we've seen MK Dons. We lost to Middlesbrough last season. How important is it, do you think, now that we turn a little blip into no more than that? Because we have to beat Forest, don't we? We can't lose a League Cup semi-final to Forest. Yeah,
definitely, and I think we will. You know, I feel like Erik ten Hag, he's not an idiot. He's always realistic after games, and when you look at how he carries himself, and I think he'll look at this and he'll go, just what you said. Do you know what? 2 deflating results. Yeah. Let's not make it a hat-trick. Let's not take anything for granted. You know, there's a game there, a winnable game against a team that are good, but the bottom or right near the bottom of the Premier League for a reason. So let's, get a result there, get through to a final of a cup, and get one step closer to another Wembley final. And you're going to be, buoyed, aren't you? Your tail's going to be up again. Because I think we were quite fortunate in a way that this run was games of winnable games. Yeah. It wasn't until we got to City where you go, that's one you're going to lose or you could drop points. I think, your Bournemouths, Evertons, Forests, Fulhams, Burnleys, they're the games you go, we should be winning them. And we did. I'm not taking that for granted because under Rangnick and even under Ollie towards the end, we weren't winning them games. But then you're coming into these games where you go, that's a tricky one. Yeah. And we've kind of come unstuck a little bit here, but we've got the players where we can get our act together, get some positive results, and then, if we keep going the way we're going, I think we'll end up this season with top 4 in silverware. I really believe that.
The thing that we need to remember is this run was always going to come to an end. Yeah. We're not good enough to just stay undefeated to the end of the season.
We're not City 18 or whatever.
Real Madrid when they won 24 games in a row.
We're not doing that.
No. But this is still shaping up to be one of the best seasons we've had in 4 or 5 years. Well, the best season we've had in 5 years. Do you know what I mean? We're in a semi-final of a cup that's very winnable.
I think this could be the best. Yeah, you're right. It could be. It could be better than Jose's first season because I know it's a long way to go, and we might not win 2 trophies. But our league form's been good and our cup form's been good. Under Jose, our league form was terrible in that first season. He gave up on the league in January because he was focusing on Europa League. So you go in, week out, or you're watching week in, week out, poor results in the league, but you made up for it in the cup competitions. This season, you're watching good results in the league, good results in the cup competitions, and it's been, on the whole, a positive season so far. And I think that, the fact that we came in at this game having lost 4 games already in the league is a little bit of a reminder that we have had a difficult time of it. And I think that, what we've got to do is, just like you said, not let this become a slump. And, to lose or to not drop points, to have a poor result against Forest or anything other than a convincing win against Reading would be disappointing.
Tim Sim says, truly was a game of millimetres and neutrals watching told me it was one of the best matches of the season. Sadly, we're on the losing side with more cracks and Casemiro suspended. Was, in my opinion, why we lost. Title race is over. Sam Z says McTominay's a liability. Surely Iqbal or Savage can't be as brainless. Might as well give them a chance ahead of him. I do think it's be careful what you wish for with that.
You can't throw in.
There's a lot of managers in a row pick Scott McTominay.
I love Zidane Iqbal. Dude, he's a top kid, and I think he's got a very bright future. I don't think starting him against Arsenal is the answer.
No, me
personally.
And again, I don't think McTominay is a great player, but I think, people have seen him play. Managers who know more about football than us.
Somebody did a job at Old Trafford.
Unfortunately, the problem isn't that Iqbal is better and he's not getting a game. The problem is that McTominay is the best we've got. If Casemiro's injured, McTominay is the best we've got. That's the problem.
I mean, it's like there was an argument that Fred should have started, and when Fred came on for those last 20 minutes, yes, you're coming into a very quick-paced game.
Fucking touch the ball.
But I could have done what he did for 10 minutes. Because he ran around.
Be a yard late to every tackle.
Didn't touch anything. Didn't get anywhere. Didn't close anyone. He was just miles off the pace. And I'm not having a dig at the kicks. I quite like Fred. But it was obvious he was like, this didn't work. That sub just did not work at all. And in the end, when he did get into the game, he was just hoofing it up because by that time we were chasing it. So, you have to be realistic, and it's like, let's play Charlie Savage. Well, no. Yeah, maybe in a year that'll be an option for you. And maybe in a year, Zidane Iqbal could become the player to... Maybe there's an argument that, by the time Casemiro's done in 3 or 4 years, Zidane's ready, or is Ely your first teamer? I understand that argument, and I think it's a valid one, but not right now. No. And I think that the whole McTominay thing, it's almost, in a way, it's like, I kind of feel like it is his fault for his performances, but it's not.
He's a bit of an easy target.
It is an easy target, and almost like there's an element of, you can't expect too much from McTominay, and that's the issue. That is the issue.
Jason K stupidly played for a draw. Garnacho should have been brought in for the final 20 minutes. Vegos was too slow. McTominay anonymous. I actually thought Vegos had a decent game for a number 9.
I did.
Against a team that gives you no time on the ball. He's not fast. He's not the best player in the world. But I thought he held the ball up pretty well. He pressed the living fuck out of them the entire game. I didn't think he was bad. I don't think he was great, but I don't think he was bad. Akash said, why did we not get a single decent cross for a 6'6" striker? Vegos had a decent spell with hold-up play and defensive work rate. Yeah, basically echoing what I've just said. Tim Sim, focus now must be on the domestic cups. Beating Barcelona and securing top 4. Still better days ahead. Sean Thomas says, won't stand for cheap McTominay slander. Ten Hag's naivety cost us 5 points in 2 games. We need a full and fresh squad for this game. Ten Hag has to learn. It doesn't give examples and specifics as to what the naivety was, but I think it's hard.
I don't think it was naive.
I don't think
against Palace to play Casemiro. I think it would have been the other way around if he'd have dropped it.
And also, let's not forget, Casemiro played and we still didn't win. So what? You should have dropped him to that, lost that one, and won against Arsenal.
I wasn't surprised at anything Eric Ten Hag did. I wasn't surprised he played Casemiro. I wasn't surprised he brought in Scott McTominay, and I wasn't surprised. That he made the changes that he made. I just don't think it worked.
Because we don't know for certain. We don't know. Arsenal could have beaten us with Casemiro in the team. And, I don't think that's necessarily... that would hurt us. Him playing wouldn't necessarily mean we won tonight. I think he wanted to get the easier 3 points against Palace and then see what we could do against Arsenal.
If we have a conversation about managers in the first season, Have you seen Arteta's record in his first 2 seasons?
Yeah.
When he was getting battered. Pep got battered at Goodison 4-0 in his first season.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't, managers losing games in the first season and then going on to success. Klopp, for example. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Isn't anything new. Yeah. Ten Hag's had a very good spell so far as a Manchester United manager. So, yeah, he might have a bit of learning to do in the Premier League and stuff like that. I'm not disputing that. Yeah. But I think he will do that learning. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He did it in the derby. He learned from that first game for the second game. And I think that'll happen moving forward.
If you're watching this video, give it a like. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 likes on the video. My amateur says, I know we'll scream for number 9, but honestly, seeing Wout validates for me we need fluidity in that role. Martial fits really well, while with Wout we look static. Ryan Singh, the biggest issue is the difference in quality between Casemiro and McTominay. But still positive. Let's not forget Ten Hag has had 6 months with the team exactly. Abhinav said these types of games expose Wan-Bissaka's limits. We think we said that before, didn't we? I agree with that. Liam Riscola says, I'm proud but worried in equal measure. We're the only team still competing on 4 fronts, but the least equipped to do so. We look shattered. Andrew Nable says, I think we just take today for what it is. We need Casemiro more than any other player, and congested fixtures were just too much to overcome. Onwards and upwards. Liam Riscola again. That's the same one I've just read. JTS04 says, people are overreacting. We played a different game. I completely agree. I think the fixture congestion is going to be difficult to deal with, but we are fighting on all fronts. We're still 6 points clear of Tottenham in 5th, which is more than I could have hoped for after the first couple of games this season. We're a team that is improving, getting better. I'm happy to be a Manchester United fan, even if we lose to Arsenal today. Any final words, Jay?
No, just listen, it's one of those. It's difficult to take. Everyone hates Arsenal, but there's a reason for that, because the fans are absolute whoppers. But we've seen it before now. Tonight. This team's moving in the right direction. In Marcus Rashford, we've got the best striker on the planet. Yeah. Never mind Erling Haaland and all his goals. Yeah. Marcus Rashford knows what he's doing. And Casemiro's come back in. We'll end up with silverware and top 4, in my opinion. Yes. So there's nothing to worry about.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you very much for joining us at home. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. We will see you in a bit.